The front door was locked, just like I left it. But as I stood on the porch staring at the dark, weathered wood, I could have sworn I heard the deadbolt turn from the inside. My mother had been gone for 3 weeks. 3 weeks since the funeral. 3 weeks since I'd watched them lower the coffin into the ground and cover it with earth. The house was empty. Or at least, that's what I told myself. It was just property now, waiting to be sold, waiting to be cleared out, waiting to become someone else's problem. I pushed the key into the lock and turned it. The mechanism groaned, and the door swung open with a heavy, protesting creak that sounded too much like a sigh. The moment I stepped inside, the air hit me. It smelled of dust and stale air, and the faint metallic tang of emptiness. But underneath it, layered over it, thick and suffocating, there was something else. The sweet, heavy scent of her lavender perfume. It was so strong it made my head spin. I closed the door behind me. The sound echoed, slamming shut with a finality that seemed to swallow the light from the hallway. I stood there in the gloom, my breathing sounding too loud, too fast, rattling in my chest like dry leaves. I walked down the hallway, my footsteps echoing loudly against the old floorboards. But then I heard it, a second set of footsteps, right next to me, matching my pace exactly. I froze. So did they. The silence stretched out, thick and heavy, pressing against my eardrums until it hurt. I took another step. They took another step. There was something else in this house. Something walking beside me in that narrow corridor. I kept moving, forcing my legs to carry me forward, gripping the wall until my knuckles turned white, my fingers scraping against the old wallpaper until I reached the living room. I reached for the light switch, flicking it up and down frantically, but nothing happened. The power was off, or maybe it just didn't want to turn on. The room was bathed in that grey twilight gloom that makes everything look wrong, distorted, like the walls are breathing in and out. Most of the furniture was covered in white sheets, looking like ghostly shapes huddled against the walls, waiting. But her armchair, the one that had molded itself perfectly to her shape over 40 years, was uncovered, and it was pulled out slightly from the wall, just how she liked it, just how she always left it when she got up to make tea. I felt the temperature drop instantly. It was the kind of cold that bites through your clothes and settles in your bones, the kind that makes you shiver deep inside, a chill that has nothing to do with the weather outside. The hairs on the back of my neck stood straight up, and a wave of pure, primal dread washed over me. That's when I saw the television. It was off. The screen was black, glossy like a dark mirror. But in the reflection, I didn't just see myself standing there, pale and shaking. Standing right behind my shoulder was a figure, taller than her, thin, wearing a long, dark coat that seemed to absorb what little light there was, swallowing it up so you couldn't see where the fabric ended and the shadows began. The face was shadowed, impossible to see clearly, but the posture, it was rigid, stiff. It wasn't my mother. My blood turned to ice. I spun around fast, my heart hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird trying to escape its cage. Nothing. Just the empty room and the silence pressing against my ears. Just the covered furniture and the empty chair. I told myself to leave, right then. Get out. but my feet wouldn't move. I was rooted to the spot, staring at that empty armchair, hypnotized, terrified, unable to break the stare. Then, from upstairs, came the sound. Like fingernails dragging slowly across wood, like something trying to get out, like something trying to scratch its way down the stairs. And then it changed. It became a voice, her voice, clear, sharp, angry. "Who let you in?" It echoed from the ceiling, from the walls, from everywhere and nowhere at once. It was hostile, sharp as a knife, like I was a stranger breaking into her home, like I didn't belong here, like I was the intruder.
"Get out!"
she screamed, but the voice didn't come from the ceiling anymore. It came from right inside the room, from right next to my ear. I backed away, stumbling over my own feet, scrambling toward the kitchen. I needed to get out. But as I reached the doorway, the lights in the house flickered violently and then died completely. Total darkness, absolute blackness, the kind of dark that you can feel on your skin and you can't see a damn thing. And then I felt it. A hand, ice cold, clamping down hard on my wrist, fingers digging into my skin, hard enough to leave bruises, pulling me back with surprising strength, yanking me toward the center of the room. A whisper, right against my ear, wet and cold, smelling of earth and decay and something ancient. "Where do you think you're going? We're not finished here." I wrenched myself free with a shout, a raw sound of terror that tore at my throat, scrambling forward until my hands hit the kitchen counter. I fumbled blindly in the dark, knocking over jars and utensils, sending things crashing to the floor, breaking things, not caring, desperate to find the back door, desperate to find the latch. Behind me, I heard the floorboards creak. Heavy steps, fast, closing the distance quickly.
"You left me,"
the voice hissed, changing pitch, distorting, sounding less like her and more like something else entirely, something guttural and wrong. "You put me in the ground. You left me alone in the dark. Now you stay with me." I found the metal latch. My fingers brushed against it, cold and hard, and I threw the door open, falling out into the garden, gasping for breath, the cold night air burning my lungs. I scrambled up, and I ran. I ran across the lawn. I climbed the fence. I didn't stop running until I hit the street, surrounded by the noise of traffic and the normal world. I never went back inside alone. I hired people to clear the house. Strangers, men who didn't know her, men who didn't have any memories here. They told me they found things moved, things they couldn't explain. They told me the temperature in the living room was freezing, even in the middle of summer, even with the heating turned all the way up. They told me they heard someone calling their names when no one else was there. They told me they saw the armchair rocking, slowly, back and forth. But I know the truth. She wasn't happy. She wasn't ready to let go. And that thing in the coat, whatever it was waiting for her. And now, it's waiting for me.